Okay, it's official. We got video. It's episode 14. You are now tapped in within range with your boys Dom Juan, Jared Suter, a.k.a. Snoop Eastwood, and the ear god himself.
In the flesh.
In the flesh. We are here, again, officially episode 14. And we got a special one for y'all. So this one is just us, no guest. And shout out to Jared for this category. I've been low-key excited for this since we talked about it. We try to come up with different things to talk about. Our last episode was, top chains in hip-hop, and we had a few comments back that people were like, that's something I never even thought of, right? So that's what we want to do. We want to let you guys know how much we know about hip-hop and express it back. And, comment, like, share, let us know what you guys think on all this stuff, right? It's opinion-based. It's not fact-based. But are we right? Are we missing the mark? Are we hitting the mark? Just tell us. But this list right here is going to be special. It's going to be different. We're doing the most underappreciated hip-hop artists. So we each have our own lists. We're going to start with our honorable mentions. And then each of us will go into our top fives of what we think is the most underappreciated hip-hop artist. And I'm just stoked about this overall. To get started, I want to ask both Jared and Drew, what you guys, if you guys had to categorize or summarize your list, what would you say? I'll start by saying that my list has some old school and some new school. So I really took some time to think about this. Again, this was a list Jared had come up with a while back. I really wanted to make sure I got it right. I felt like I did my homework. Jared, how would you sum up your list?
I had a feeling yours would definitely lean old school. I love that. That's why we complement each other well. I definitely lean newer school. I have an older school group on there for sure. But if I had to describe my group, I kind of, we like the business world too. I kind of tried to look at them as like a company or a stock. And it's like, all right, who's undervalued right now? You know what I mean? Where it's just like, all right, would you look at the quality, the catalog, the accomplishments, whatever it is. It can be any combo of those things, but it's like who's done enough or has the skill that just doesn't get recognized. If they were a stock, if I thought they were undervalued, I'm buying them. You know what I mean? So
I like that.
That's how I went at it.
Business mindset.
That's
Ear
very
god.
business minded. Holy shit. That is definitely not gonna, I'm not gonna be anywhere near there.
All right. What you got?
We're on a different ball
That's
court.
why it's a good podcast.
Yeah.
If you had to sum up your list before we get into it, how would you categorize it?
So I would say mine is kind of more in the aspect of being generational and not in the aspect of really decades. It's more so like an era of a style of music. And so I would say, just to give you guys a little bit of a hint of what I got, my earliest artist goes far back as 2000 in terms of when they hit the scene.
Okay.
I think I'm looking like early 90s is my oldest, so within the ballpark.
Okay. Actually, mine might even be later. Mine might be like 2002, 2003.
Okay.
So.
Okay. All right. I love it, fellas. Well, let's get into it. Again, officially episode 14, the most underappreciated hip-hop artist. All right, here we go. Dom Juan's honorable mentions. I'm starting with, we got Mike Jones, Lil Scrappy, Juelz Santana, Slim Thug, and T Grizz. Okay, so let me just explain real quick. So again, this is just this is just honorable mentions. Shit. Now I didn't, each one of these people that I just mentioned could have easily made the top 5. They did not. Mike Jones, I mean, who doesn't remember 281-330-8004?
He put his phone
Iconic.
number on his shirt so you could call him. Remember that? That's it. He was a legend. I remember he came out with the track. I want to say it was when I was in college or something like that. And I remember being like, holy shit, like Mike Jones is back in the game. And I think he even mentioned, he's like, some politics kept me out the game for a while. So I think that's a solid pick for underrated, man. I love it.
That's what I'm saying. Mike Jones, he was influential. He was huge. Everybody was singing his songs. So shout out Mike Jones again on my list. Just to recap, Lil Scrappy. I feel like everyone was bumping No Problems. He was hard back in the day.
Did he end up on? Was it Young Jock or was it him that ended up on Love and Hip Hop?
Both of them ended up on Love and
Yeah,
Hip Hop.
both yep.
I mean, you brought it up.
I've got a Love and Hip Hop artist on my list, so it's okay.
Okay. Juelz Santana, shout out Juelz, just did an episode on Drink Champs. A lot of people might forget, but man, when Juelz was on the scene, I know he came up with Dipset, but when he did his solo thing, Juelz was on the top of the game. Shout out Juelz Santana. Also, too, Slim Thug. We just talked about Slim Thug.
I want to talk about all these guys. Hold on, really
I
quick.
know.
I'm
Let's
sorry.
go
You got
back.
Joel
Let's
Santana.
go back.
Hey, you might want to
is he
cancel
not-
that timer.
Yeah, the time's
All
not
right,
happening.
all right.
Wait,
It's off.
you know what?
It's off.
We're doing video this time. We're gonna go long form.
Hey,
People
we
can
gotta
watch what they
enjoy
want.
it.
Love it.
Okay, so we're talking Joel Santana.
go
Is he
back.
not getting credit for putting Chris Brown on? Because everyone always talks about Run It.
Oh, the Run It verse.
Run It is Joel Santana on that too.
Really quick.
Fucking murks that.
Yeah.
If you watched the episode of Drink Champs, he talks about that. I guess he almost wasn't even on that.
Joel Santana was almost not on Run It.
Listen,
I mean,
shout
people
out,
don't
shout
mention
out,
it too.
yeah, shout out Drink Champs. Everyone watch the episode. I don't want to speak on it here, but yeah, check out
dope.
the app with your boys Joel's.
Don't even
Yes.
get me started on Slim Thug, dude. What a guy! The longevity of Slim Thug is
Who
inspiring.
remembers?
Oh, the whisk, yes.
Oh man,
There
When
go, girl.
so-
Dun-dun-dun.
Yes,
Yes, dude.
dude,
Yes,
Joel.
yeah. That shit was on
Dude, shout
repeat.
it, man.
Yes,
Dude.
yes.
Hey.
Yes, the whisk.
Hey, sorry, Drew. I got you. It was. That's
So
good. I'm
let's-
passionate.
Let's get
Down
to that
straight
next one. 'cause
DMX in the mic right now.
I love that two-thirds of the artists on one particular track was still tipping made your honorable mention because Slim Thug I think is
Houston got
a glaring omission from
That's
my
what I'm
list.
saying. Again,
Yeah.
you go into it, Slim Thug. I mean, he was prolific, and I just remember, like, again, I was in middle school at the time when Mike Jones, Slim Thug, Paul Wall, and I just remember seeing Slim Thug in videos and thinking, man, he's tall. Like, you knew he was tall from the music videos, and he just had this presence about him like a boss. Everyone remembers that track. You know what I'm saying? So shout out Slim Thug. And then my last one, honorable mentions. I'm gonna shout out my boy T Grizz from Detroit. I know that he's been pumping out music. He's featured on a lot, but I feel like he's not talked about enough. And I feel like he is an artist that is part of this new generation. He's got a particular style where he doesn't do a lot of choruses, and a lot of people might sleep on that. But the dude puts out bars, man.
Dude, he's got the rare.
Spits bars.
If I had to give him any props, I think this says it all. He was good enough that I listened to a song he had with Lil Pump pretty consistently. I mean, he was good enough that I could overlook Lil Pump. I think it was called Jet Ski Grizzly or Jet Ski something. Yeah, the no chorus thing's wild, but I love it, and it's nice to see someone else winning out of Memphis.
All right, who's next? We got Snoop Eastwood or Ear God? Who's up?
Oh, we're definitely get Snoop Eastwood over here.
Let's go.
Okay, so I'll rip through. I only have 3 honorable mentions. I didn't go as hard on that. One I had, it's not one that, and then I'll say I'm honestly guilty of underappreciating them to an extent. But I do know enough of their catalog, and I know Dancing with the Devil. Immortal Technique is one that I think doesn't always get their love. That's more of like a
Yeah, that's a good one. I
That's
like
one
that.
that's one that I feel like, if you're like a big hip hop head, you'd be like, what the hell? That's like, that's because that's like, what is it? MF Doom and all those guys where it's just like, oh, okay, if you're a hip hop head, these are the guys you like. And Immortal Technique is usually on their list, but we're talking underappreciated in the general sort of perception. I don't think a lot of people know about Immortal Technique. Incredible lyricist, he's a political activist.
Yep.
There's just a lot. And Dancing with the Devil is probably one of the most hardcore songs that
Hardcore.
humanity's ever come up with. And if that doesn't give you some, like, that's the definition of hip hop gives me an insight into something that's completely outside of my realm of consciousness and expands my understanding of the world. That song did it. So I don't think they get the love for doing that as much as they should. But so I had to mention them there.
Can I tell a story about that song real quick?
Please do.
Shout out Tangelic Relic, Tommy Cipolaro, who will be on the episode. He had put me onto that track. I downloaded it on my phone at the time. I was living at Domain. I was going to ASU. I put it on shuffle when I was working out at the gym up there. And I literally had to stop my workout because I was listening to the lyrics and I was like, wait a minute. Again,
It gets to a level that you're like, wow, this is a really intense song. And then it ends about 45 levels above that. And for those that haven't heard it, and
yeah. So if you listen to it, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I just want to say, like, it literally stopped me in the dead of my workout, and I went home after that. I didn't
You had to
finish my
rethink life a
workout.
little bit.
Gee,
had to rethink life a little bit.
Not as much as the gentleman the song was written about. I'll tell you that, dude. I won't even try and summarize that one because it's so hardcore. I do want this list to be focused on people that have made it to a certain level of success, whether of notoriety or whatever it is, but that I still feel like, again, kind of like a company, right? They're traded on the stock exchange, so you got to be a certain level of company, but are they undervalued? So this guy, I think, fit that bill for me. Gunplay, MMG artist.
That's an interesting one.
Overall, did like if you look at so here's what I think. I think he nailed a few features. Like he was someone that I saw spark in, and that's I will say underrated. I almost want to say underutilized or whatever it was. I think he ended up on Love and Hip Hop, one of those shows.
Yeah, he definitely did.
He fizzled. He did. He fizzled out, and I will say his solo stuff. I mean, I'm not like a huge fan of every single solo song or anything, but Bible on the Dash is incredible. But his features, he has 2 features, and you know, for two features to have this much of an impact on me, I do feel like they're pretty strong.
Says a lot.
Yeah, that says a lot for sure.
Number 1, his best. Cartoons and Cereal, Kendrick Lamar. He's the other verse on that song. First off, if you haven't heard that song, please go listen to it just in general for Kendrick.
Yeah,
I've never heard Cartoons and Cereal, Kendrick Lamar, Gunplay.
Such an interesting combo.
He goes,
Drew, good point. That's what I was just going to say. Like the fact that Kendrick got him on a track.
That's what I'm saying. He saw something. Okay, so here, that's the thing. That's why Gunplay is like...
It's like Pop Rocks and Hennessy. This shit.
Dude, okay, so here's my other... So I'm glad that you said that. Yes, so Kendrick got him on a track. Obviously, that's a legitimizing factor. If not that I like this guy all the time, but he knows his shit. Charlemagne the God... if you go back and watch like a few years, like probably like 3 to 4 years worth of any time Rick Ross went on the Breakfast Club, he goes, "Hey, how's my man Gunplay?" He checks on Gunplay.
Wow.
He would literally like check on Gunplay with Rick Ross when he would go into interviews, and I thought that was so cool, and it helped me. It was legitimizing. I was like, damn, Charlemagne fucks with him too. And then the other one is Ghetto Symphony off of ASAP's album. He's got a verse on there. He absolutely crushes it. So. Again, he leaves some to be desired. The longevity of the career wasn't quite there, but man, he had some flashes in the pan that were iconic. So check all those out.
Jared is passionate about Gunplay.
I love Gunplay. I love Gunplay.
Well, and I'll just say this: almost every time like we would hang out, you would always like put me on a Gunplay, and I feel like I just never took it to that next level. So I'll get there.
Honestly, would have never thought that Gunplay would have been like Jared's go-to for
underappreciated.
I mean, again, I'm not saying he's not my go-to. That's why he's on the honorable mentions. But he's just one of those guys. I don't know if it was and I honest to God, I don't know if it was like a personal life thing. I don't know what fully kept him there because he had these moments where it was like, this guy's the shit. He had this controlled, almost like Miami Rasta kind of. I don't even know how to describe it, man. But anyways, I'm spending more time on my
So Jared, you actually made me have to do something that I didn't think I would need to. You just gave me an artist that gave me all of those feelings, but I never put him on my list because I didn't think about it. And now, he's gonna be the first person I mentioned.
Because this Gunplay he was one guy that like I feel like he broke through the ceiling for a second. I don't know if it just I don't know what, and I stayed a fan. I hung in there for a few years, and I think he kind of pulled it there when he did the Love and Hip Hop. So, last one, Dom, good segue when you talk about, you said guys that I kind of try and put out there. Maybe you don't always take it, if not, you usually do. I'm just saying that's probably the only one you said there. But guy, you did get into with me, my boy Riff.
Man, shout out.
So
Riff.
that's a complicated one for me, and it's been a developing situation because when you listen to Big Tuck, you hear that song, it's like, oh man, there's. You don't want to say he's copying something, but a lot of similarities. So there's that, but he was talented. He freestyled, and he was real. He didn't look at the phone. He really freestyled. Like he was creative. He had a thing with the Burberry, German jack-o'-lantern with the Burberry pattern. He was, he calls himself like the greatest color namer of all time. Oh, that's the aqua Burberry, teal.
I would agree with that.
Hey, that's a skill though. There's a lot of colors.
Absolutely.
He had a complete like identity. Like it was just like it was him. Riff Raff had this whole image, and he called his house the Codeine Castle, and he had Jody Husky, and he drove trucks, but he was in hip hop, and he was on Diplo's label. Like I just feel like he was everywhere. It's tough because we talk about being authentic, and I think Riff Raff is in a tough spot because he grew up in Houston. And if you watch older videos and you talk to guys, like he's in with Houston people. He does the Houston remix of How to Be the Man with Paul Wall and Slim Thug, like icons of Houston. He's real with those people. He grew up like that. But that Houston, kind of trill culture doesn't fit a skinny, coked out white guy that well all the time. You know what I mean? Like it's not the easiest vibe to like fit in with because it's pretty ridiculous. They really emphasized the jewelry and the grills and the big cars and like things that I guess were almost caricature of hip hop at that time to the rest of the world. So I think he got cheapened a little bit there. Like people wrote him off to an extent where, oh, you just, some white guy trying to be black. And maybe there was a little bit of that. I don't know. But my sense of it is that honestly who he was. He was talented, and people didn't take it seriously. And to his credit, he hung with it for better or worse in his career. So I respect that. But underrated, underappreciated. I think he even reps that. What's the song? Is it Carlos M? Often hated.
Underappreciated. Yeah, Carlos M. And I'll say this about Riff, and we're fans of Riff here on the show. Jared and I have seen him twice in concert. Not the best concert performer. I will say I'll say this. He comes out, he'll do his thing, but then he'll leave. And then you're sitting there, I'm like, is he going to come back?
Is the show done? Yeah, it's really just ending because he kills the performance. Like, he's fun. I mean, he was fun.
That's what I'm saying. He's great. He does some songs,
just dips.
And then he just dips, and then his DJ's still left on the stage. And you could tell the DJ's even, like, both times we saw, we're like, is it over?
Is this over? Am I getting paid?
Yeah.
He just walks out. He's probably feels a vibe, and then if he's not feeling it no more when he's bored, he's like, I'm gone.
I'll say this. The first one we saw him, I get it, because it was a small crowd, and I didn't feel like it fit him at the time. The last one was fun though, dude. That was a bigger crowd.
That was at like more of a local bar.
Yeah, what was it? We need to find that guy.
It was in South Scottsdale. Big Lotion.
I follow him. Yeah,
shout out Big
Lotion out
I
here,
follow
dude.
him on Instagram. He's part of, I guess, Riff Raff's crew. Maybe he does something else. I want to say he's out of Ohio. Don't quote me on that. He was dope though. He threw it down.
That's dope.
All right, that's my honorable mentions. Ear God. So you're good. Okay, so just to be clear, Ear God's going right now, and then you're gonna do your honorable mentions, and then you'll hit your fifth.
Nice.
And then we'll rotate
we'll
back.
go
I'll do
four.
five, and then four. So that's how it'll go.
Okay. Damn, you're putting pressure on me and Don because we're on the end. You get the nice and middle.
I'm ready.
Pause.
Ready. Pause.
Pause. All right, so I'm gonna go backwards because I feel like it went from like. So I'm not gonna lie. I actually added 4 more names after you guys started talking.
I love it.
So how many total honorable mentions are you talking about?
So I have a total of 7. I came in with 3.
I'd like to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, my mama, my auntie, my manager, my producer, my engineer.
So I was going to switch them out and pick the 3, but then as soon as I started adding them, I'm like, okay, there's certain people I definitely want to highlight, certain people I can just say just because they were already on my list. So number 7, somebody that I felt like had such good pocket of runs, but he never had like his moment to shine. But I think in a long spectrum, he's just not respected enough. Busta Rhymes.
Wow. Oh man, yeah. Busta Bus. I love Busta Bus.
He had his moment with what was the Chris Brown one? I'm blanking on the name right now.
Look at me now.
Drop. Yeah, Look at Me Now. I mean, that was iconic. I feel like he had that. That was like an anchor for our generation, but I can completely see the underrated argument.
Pass the Cavassier. Everybody's screaming now. Pass the Cavassier, man.
He just had so many bangers. He had the Flavor in Your Ear remix. To me, he had one of the top 3 verses. He also did the stuff with Mariah Carey. I want to give it to you. Give it to me. I know what you want. Like, he had that. What
about the ODB? Yeah. And they're in the like the nut house, and they're both tied up. Man, that's one of my favorite.
That was like a classic, like early 2000s hip hop video.
And then talk about a total throwback. He was the last verse on the Space Jam. Hit 'Em High.
Oh, I love that track. Method Man, Be Real.
Yeah.
Man, that track is hard.
Coolio.
You're right, Drew. LL Cool J was on that.
Dude, good pull.
If somebody had to say, if something represents your childhood, but also culturally, that would be the song.
Hit 'em high, hit 'em high, hit 'em high.
Just Space Jam in general, dude. Just what comes from there. Dude, I'm going to blank. What was it? You guys can go on.
Shout out Busta Bus.
Oh, so Busta, sorry, hold on. Thing I love about him, he is, I think one of the cool things about him, he almost seems out of control when he's flowing, but he's very in control. It's like, it's so wild and and it's just like, it sounds like this crazy man going off, but then you like really listen to it and it's like, oh my God, he's flowing. It all rhymes. It's all completely on beat. Like, that's fucking incredible. Like, that's the cool thing. It's like, it sounds chaotic, but it's very, very controlled. Like, that's
wasn't like him, Biggie, and Jay all used to freestyle together in school?
Guess what? They all went to the same high school. Yep, and they all used to freestyle together. Biggie apparently was the one that showed up to school the least amount of time. Jay and Bus actually used to come more, but yeah.
You know how it's dope that we all know our knowledge like that.
Man,
like that's just kind of like a rite of passage. You just got some things you got to know.
So I say I wish someone would try to test us.
Rap Culture Olympics.
Yeah, what you got next, Drew?
Dude,
All right,
that'd be
so-
a fun feature at the Slab Olympics. Let's get down to Houston with
Hey,
Slim
let's
Thug.
go to the Slab Olympics. So number 6 is more of a sentimental one. I didn't think to really put him on here because I think in the grand scheme of things, he's done some good things, but I feel like he hasn't made a crazy amount of impact to really say he's underappreciated. Ace Hood. So Ace Hood is somebody that I remember seeing the first time I ever
Let's do a
witnessed
hand
him.
clap for that one, man.
no,
Shay, Drew.
Ace
Seriously,
Hood is criminally underrated.
Man,
Talk about a guy that's well-rounded. He's so big on fitness. A guy that's in the hip-hop game extremely, like, all about his wife and like he's just got his shit together, dude. He's like super healthy. Yeah. He's ripped. He's coming out with music. He's got his businesses. What a guy.
Real quick, Drew,
criminally
before you get
underrated.
into it, I just want to say every time I think of Ace Hood, I think of you because Cash Flow, you first put me onto that, and it was game.
Yeah, I need it on
Mine
time.
was, I think,
I'm
with
talking
Ludacris
bank,
and him.
bro.
It was Last of a Time, or no, Last of, I forget what it is, but I wake up and got 4 or 5 bitches in the bed, Yeah, that song was.
Yeah,
I was
a
in
good
high
one.
school in my Toyota Camry with a Kenwood 12 in the back of that, going.
Hey, we need to do a graphic design T-shirt of that car with the subs in the back and shit.
The Camry, the
Yeah,
2000
the
Camry, with
Camry, yeah.
234,000 miles on it.
Little icon
With the-
right here.
With the Kenwood 12 and the high phonics amp back there, yeah, we
Yes,
were
yes,
getting our
sir.
thing, dude.
Yeah. So quick story with Ace Hood. So the first time I ever found out who Ace Hood was on the cover of the XXL Top 10 Freshman. It was 2009. It was the second cover they ever did. And he was with the likes of Charles Hamilton, Mickey Fax, Blue, Asher Roth, Wale, Kid Cudi. There was like, to me, that was probably one of my favorites, and it was actually the first double XL cover that I found. And he just looks super unique. And I remember going on YouTube is when YouTube finally started like having videos, and then music videos were actually able to purchase on iPod videos, and I used to bring that with like AV cables every party we went to, and I would plug it in, and we would all be watching different music videos that I bought, and that was one of the go-to favorites.
That
was when
T-Pain
T-Pain was doing his top hat. Yeah, that was when T-Pain was doing his top hat marketing campaign. And every single video thing he did, he had a different top hat. That was probably one of my favorite little eras of music at the time.
As Drew's at a party, and These Boots Were Made for Walking by Jessica Simpson from the Dukes of Hazzard movie soundtrack comes on. Oh, sorry, guys. I got to get rid of this one. No. Sorry, boys.
You funny. Number 5, to me, I feel like he made such a cultural impact, but I feel like nobody looks at this era of music as an origin for what we somewhat hear now in music today, which is Lil Jon.
Oh,
one of the originators of crunk music.
Yes.
Wow. I wouldn't have thought of him as underrated, but I do love that pick. Yeah, dude. Especially for like this, especially for the new school, dude. They don't get it. They don't know.
Man, let me just say, yeah. Lil Jon, at that time, middle school dance was playing all Lil Jon songs. Lil Jon made you want to fight, get happy, hang out with your buddies. I mean, man, Drew, great pick.
You know how you go to like when they go to you go to the psychiatrist or whatever, and they in the movie, and they have like the ink blots, and they're like, "What do you associate? What do you see?" If they pulled one of those out and the ink blot looked like Lil Jon, I would go middle school. Like I would go middle school. That's like that's what I would say. Is like I associate Lil Jon with middle school more than anything, which is in a good way. And then he hit us with Turn Down for What in college, just to kind of keep us there, you know?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, he was like, "Let me give you one more."
He's
run
like, "Let
before
me
you
hit
graduate
hey, this
college."
DJ Snake guy's pretty cool. Let me give you a couple with him. We'll be fine."
Let's not forget Chappelle also, man, did a really big episode. Yeah, that was
To me, that's the underratedness, is how much of a cultural impact he, kind of went through for so long, and people still use okay. To me, he was really making ad-libs popular by making them the lead vocal, and then people started doing ad-libs, more as like aesthetic.
That's got to be the name of the Lil Jon and the East Side Boys documentary, From the Window to the Wall.
I just remember one of the East Side Boys used to drink out of a gasoline tank. Y'all remember that?
Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah.
And then they came out with crunk juice.
Yeah.
Crunk juice. God only knows
I just
what
remember,
demon chemicals were in there.
Shout out my boy Ryan Cherry. He always used to say, "Man, that guy drinks gas." It's literally drinking gas.
The Crunk Cup is so iconic. I'm still mad. I
Oh,
never
the
got a
Crunk Cup.
I had
with
I
the
got
diamonds on it.
I got one that
Yeah.
had like I think it had like a pot leaf and it said pimp on it. In college, I thought it was so cool having that too. It was even
That's
late.
awesome. That's awesome.
I got it for a Halloween costume, but you know,
That's
it
dope.
might have gotten whipped out a few times.
I would say my favorite Lil Jon Eastside Boy song is probably "Play No Games" with Fat Joe.
Oh, great song.
That was from their first album. So from Lil Jon, and then to me, going back to Houston, I'm gonna go with Paul Wall. His run from Still Tippin' all the way until his debut album, and I think even his sophomore album, even when he did I'm Throwed featuring Jermaine Dupri, that was like 2006, 2007. His run was just super incredible, and I don't know anybody that says, yo, fuck Paul Wall or Paul Wall's music was trash during that time. Everybody appreciated Paul Wall.
Let me just say, I got the pleasure of seeing Slim Thug and Paul Wall perform live when I was in Corpus Christi, Texas. I got to see him, and then who remembers? Oh, girl, I'll be in trouble if you left me. That song was a.
Yeah.
Tell me that song. People might not think it was a bang, but great song by Paul Wall, man. Killed that.
Dude, Sitting Sideways is just below Still Tippin', though. Honestly,
Agreed.
in terms
Who's that featuring? Is that with Big Pokey? Is that who the feature was?
That's a good trivia question. Who is on that one?
I think it was Big Pokey.
I think you're right.
So number 3, I like him lyrically to me, but I felt like he was in such a niche, and that's why I'm putting him on the most underrated, is the amount of impact he has on his niche and what he's been able to do as an independent artist is probably one of the most successful independent artists out, in the legacy he's going to leave behind, to anybody that's on the label or anybody that, is kids if they decide to take over the business, is Tech Nine.
That's fair. Strange Music's huge. Another independent guy.
Yeah, and he's also sentimental to me, to be honest, because when I first got into music, period, my homie I used to work with at TJ Maxx, his name was Ebo Mr. MC Aseni. He was the first person that introduced me to the idea of being able to record at home. So he had a Fruity Loops rig, and he showed me like hundreds of songs, and that right there actually started like me getting into writing raps and then learning how to produce music. And then from there is when I went to Full Sail to start my music career. So if it wasn't for him and his love for Tech Nine, we used to start like trading songs and stuff like that. And his thing he would always show me would be different Tech Nine tours and concerts and albums.
Worldwide Choppers.
Worldwide Choppers was one of my favorites, dog.
Dude,
that shit was so fire.
Iconic. Yeah, that whole song's I couldn't even name the other features on there, but they all marked that. Yeah, that's a good one.
All right, so my number 1 on my honorable mentions list is Wiz Khalifa.
Whoa, underrated.
Yeah,
underrated.
No, remember, underappreciated. Yeah,
Yeah,
see, and that's a good point, Drew. No offense, I don't know if I would agree with you there. I felt like Wiz Khalifa is appreciated enough, but explain why he made you underappreciated.
Because he's not in my top 10.
Top 5?
No,
He's not in your top 10?
He's not in your top 10.
In terms of like my favorite artist, he doesn't make that list. So if he had to make a list he'd be the most underappreciated. And to me, I feel like he is truly underappreciated. I feel like with what he does in culture, he's highly appreciated, but I feel like musically he's just continuously slept on. People talk about his mixtapes and things like that, but I feel like people don't really actually truly appreciate his versatility in music.
I think Taylor Alderdice is one of the most beautiful pieces of music like ever. Like that is a start to finish. Don't skip a track. Like that's one of the greatest hip hop creations of all time for me. So I mean I can see the underrated. He also had the number 1 viewed video YouTube video of all time with the "See You Again." I think Justin Bieber ended up taking him down, but
that's actually the most successful hip hop song of all time.
Yeah, that "See You Again" was that's
no, I'm saying like selling wise, it's literally the most successful single rap single of all time.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a song that had billions of views. Not just it's crazy if something hits like 500 million, but to hit billions of views,
so
that means like basically every person on the planet's seen it, or a good chunk of the planet's seen it multiple times.
Yeah, but think about it this way: that only happened because of a very traumatic, unfortunate circumstance.
Rest in peace.
So think about that. So rest in peace to Paul Walker. the fact that his passing became the benchmark of Wiz Khalifa's most successful song in his career and Charlie Puth's career.
Yeah.
Not to say that takes away anything from their artistic side. It was a beautifully written song. You know, shout out to Charlie Puth for producing and writing, you know, his lyrics and stuff for the record. I feel like those are considered like dope albums and things like that. And certain people call them classics and things, but to me, they're always looked at as cult classics. I don't think people would ever put those in like top 10, top 20, or even top 50, or even top 100 albums of all time. But I just want to always,
OJ.
yeah. So, but I always want to make sure that like
Black
with
and
Wiz
Yellow.
Khalifa, like at least in my book, like Cushion OJ, Taylor Allardyce, Deal or No Deal, Flight School, like
Burn
even,
After Reading
Rolling
was even
Papers.
good, dude. Burn After Reading
Yeah,
was
Burn After
good.
Reading,
Like,
yeah.
I was like, people sleep on that. It was like, he named that after like an obscure Brad Pitt movie too.
Yeah. And then just the fact that he started doing vlogs. He was one of the first people to do vlogs.
Day to Day
and
was huge. Yeah.
Yeah, that was such a cultural impact. And then he showed me how to roll a joint.
The one where he's in the hot tub on the double XL.
Let's just keep it. Yeah,
On the
yeah.
iPad- or is
That's, how
it
you,
on the
that's how you
iPad?
roll a doobie, man.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, he's doing the Tony Montana. Yeah.
Gotta
Oh,
make the
shit.
boat. Gotta make the boat, and you gotta tie the little. Yeah, there's a lot of shit that I learned from Wiz Khalifa that was just like something super new to me. And then I started liking Chuck Taylor's because of Wiz Khalifa. I started liking the color golden yellow because of Wiz Khalifa.
Yeah, number 5. We're getting it cracking the top 5 now. This is it.
Hold on, before we get in there,
Yeah.
we do have to make note that the guy that Drew didn't mention was Machine Gun Kelly. I was even shocked that Drew.
You had to bring it
I
up.
had to call you out, man. I was even shocked he was going to be an honorable mention. Personally, the only song I could even think of that he's done is that diss on Eminem, which I think he lost that battle. So I don't know, Drew. Questionable honorable mention. I'm glad that he was removed from your list. I just want to make a note of that.
All right, so Machine Gun Kelly, if I ever meet you in person, Colson Baker.
Colson? Is that his first name?
Colson Baker is his
All right,
full-
so we're
is
gonna
his
go ahead
name.
and call the episode here. Drew knew his real name. All right, it's been really cool, dude. No, just kidding.
You're supposed to know the artist you like.
I'm just fucking with you, dude.
Damn, man.
I fucked with him early on. I told you that.
All right, you know what? YouTube, everybody that listens to this, roast me in my comments so that way my engagement can go
Please
up.
do.
Just fire away. Flay me like a Burger King
I think
charbroiled
it was
cheeseburger, dog.
Boatload with Juicy J, Sour Diesel, White Widow, Kush, Bada Boatload. They killed that song.
Man.
Wild Boy
Man.
with Waka, and then I was out. When
Hey,
he picked
just
up a
coming-
guitar, it was game over. I was like, oh, dude.
He's
do
like,
that.
I'm out.
Don't do that.
I'm definitely
Don't do
out.
that, dude. No.
I'm hitting the block button. All right, so
Fighting
just to
with
give
Slipknot.
people a little glimpse of why I even had Machine Gun Kelly on my list. I've been listening to Machine Gun Kelly since like 2009, 2010. He definitely got me through my college years. He was just fun to listen to, and him being from the Midwest, I like that he was like kind of a chopper style rapper, but I just like the versatility he brought from doing rap to more alternative rap to going into rock music, doing punk rock music. To me, once he started going, and then too, he did a really good job in the Motley Crue biopic on Netflix.
I'll give him that. Before we get to number 5, I just want to say thank God you didn't pay for a ticket to see him live. Moving on.
Yeah, see, all right, bring on the comments. I'm ready for it.